All right, we are live. We are live for the pre-show. So if you can tell, the countdown has already started. And I have his name on the screen, guys, but I'm by myself today. So one time for Brant Collins. He had some work he had to get done today. And he said, Strick, man, can you please carry the show by yourself? And sure I can. But Brant, you are missed, sir. Like, who was going to tell me to turn off my Wi-Fi? Like, you wasn't here to do that. I had to remember to turn off my Wi-Fi. Did I remember? I remembered on your behalf, Brant, to turn off my Wi-Fi. So this is what I want to do. Everybody that's on right now, please do what you did last week. Everybody was telling me where you were watching from. I would love to go down the list. Michelle has already checked in. Good evening to you, Michelle. Jermaine is checking in now. Jermaine Freeman, hey, thank you so very much. We are live. And yeah. We're fine. Strick's here. No Brant. Brant's going to be back next week. So if you don't do anything for me, help me out with Brant just 1 second. He has a channel that he just really started to push on YouTube. It's called Brant Collins, and he has lo-fi gaming music on. I need you to go check his channel out. And if you like the music, click and subscribe. So if you're one of those people that just likes to listen to music ongoing on YouTube, he has a lo-fi channel going right now, and I need subscribers and listeners. Like, you just go check it out. I think it's really, really cool. When you go there, you'll notice it's a insert coin game that's going on, but music is playing behind it. Very cool idea. One time for my man Brant Collins. So check him out, and appreciate you guys coming through. I'm waiting on the comments. Where are you watching at? Let me know. And Michelle is checking in with us. This is so cool. That is really, really cool. So thank you for saying that. One time for Brant. We have tons of stuff we're going to talk about. Right behind me, like right here, are a pair of Shure headphones. We are actually testing these headphones out to do a product review on them really, really soon. So you guys watch out for that. We have that coming your way. Insight photos coming in from sunny San Diego. Thank you for checking in with me. My man Noel is in Memphis, Tennessee. You know, big shouts out to you. And okay, Michelle, Atlanta is in the house. That's cool. Make sure if you go outside of the house in Atlanta that you wear your mask. You know, in Atlanta, you got to wear your mask. Don't go out without your mask. And if nobody has told you this, please wash your hands. Like, when the pandemic hit and they said, hey, it's important to start washing your hands, I wanted to know who the people were that wasn't already washing their hands. Like, somebody please tell me, like, before the pandemic, you know what, I was one of those people that didn't really wash my hands. I need to know that because I know when the pandemic is over, most people are going to go back to doing what they were already doing. Are you that person that won't wash their hands after the pandemic? I need to know that. So, you know, that's like me talking to my son. Like, he comes down for dinner, and that's the question I have to ask him all the time. Have you washed your hands? Like, dude, why you come downstairs and not wash your hands? You know we're about to eat dinner. Anyways, that's me being on my washing your hands soapbox. Do you guys know that, you know, there's not really any cases around the country of flu right now? People are wearing a mask. Like, nobody's catching the flu. I understand COVID is here, but you don't hear much about the flu this year. And Michelle is saying she's a nurse. And that's second. I hope so. I hope it's second nature to you, Michelle, to wash your hands. Please continue to do that. And somebody says, hey, they're open to being on the show. Here's my live stream playlist. Okay, cool. No problem. Do me a favor. If you are one of those people that want to be on our show, we have a Facebook group page. That's number one, the stream show. And we also have a Facebook, just regular, what is that called, a band page, fan page. Check those pages out. Get the information there on how to be on our show. Or let me just make it simple. I got 20 seconds to say this. thestreamshow.live. Go there, click the button and say you want to be on this show. And guess what? There's a form you fill out. And the next thing you know, you're on the show. I'm catching the countdown. In just a few seconds, things are going to change here on the show. I did it right. So basically, the countdown goes off. You get a bumper screen, and normally you would come to a screen where there was Brant and I without the timer, and I make the change of the scene, so it just come back to me. I have to remember next week, guess what, to change this scene back. But for this week, I got it. So, Steve, hey, what's up, sir? Thanks, Steve, for checking in on the show. And Rob, how are you doing? Guess what? I'm riding solo today, but not for long. It's probably about a month and a half ago, I was asked by Rob Balasabas of TubeBuddy to be on his YouTube channel for a discussion panel that he was having. And it just so happens to be Stephanie Liu was there, Kevin Kolbe was there, Dan Holloway was there, and we got a chance to meet some major people in the industry. And I was blown away, not by the conversation, but by the community of the conversation off the screen. So we did Rob's show. Everybody had a great time. And then we were probably on his stream, like off air for another 30, 40 minutes, just talking it up. Guess what? It blew my mind. These people, it's kind of like you ever meet somebody for the first time. It's like, man, that guy is really cool. Man, these guys are really cool. You know, we need, listen, can y'all come on the stream show? And everybody said yes. So guess what? I got Kevin Kolbe is on the show today. Dan Holloway is on the show today. And we're going to talk streaming business. We're going to talk business. We're going to talk video stuff. Guess what? We're just going to talk. So without further ado, I'm going to bring both the guys on, and I'm going to try my best to hit the right screen here. So everybody comes up. There he is. That's Kevin. That's Dan. So happy you guys can be here with me today. Like, this is awesome, man. Thank you so very much for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on here. It was a blast, and I agree that the whole Rob live stream, it was almost as much fun after the stream was over, and we just hung out and talked for 30, 45 minutes, hour, whatever. And that's that community that you get with YouTube and live streaming that I just don't know where else you get.
And you're right.
I actually think it was better off air than it was on air.
Yeah. It was.
I really do.
It really was. You know, I always tell my guests on my own personal show, like, people are so nervous because they feel like they're on air and people are listening to them. They're nervous. And then as soon as you get off, 30, 40 minutes later, everybody feels so come on, we did it. And then they're engaging. Like, let's not be engaging now. I needed that 30, 40 minutes ago. So
yeah, when we're on air, let's be talking.
Yeah, when we're all on air, let's just be open and let's just go for it. Now, you guys have got a good 3-4 minutes of my stand-up routine. How did I do in the pre-show by myself? Did I do okay?
I'm going to give you like a 9.
Nah, I get it.
How about that?
I'll take a 9 out of 10. I'll take a 9 out of 10. Thank you so very much.
You did okay. It was absolutely adequate.
And that's what I appreciate. That is what I appreciate.
Dan's
about
like the Russian
Dan.
judge.
He is.
In the Olympics.
Absolutely
you
love
don't
it.
beat yourself up too much.
No, you can't do it too much.
Grow, you know?
I gotta have room to grow. Like and I wish I could grow a little taller and not this way. But hey, it is what it is these days. So
yeah, funny story actually. I
just
tried on my like suits and things. We've got something I got to dress up for this week. For the first time, like ever. It feels like it, at least. Nothing fits. I literally have like one pair of chinos and jeans. That's the only things that fit. None of my suits fit. None of my smart trousers fit. Half my shirts don't fit. I'm like, I got like, butch during lockdown. Babe's like, shouldn't you be butch like across your shoulder?
Wow.
Like, should it be there and should it be here? It shouldn't be around your belly. Yeah.
Sometimes that happens.
Fits.
What is it called? It's called the Pandemic 15. Is that what you got?
I just called it fat.
Just fat. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Thank God. Before I can get into my studio at the house, I have to pass my little gym area. So I see the treadmill and the weights every day.
You just walk on by, yeah?
Yeah. Walk on by. I have been pretty steady with it. I will say this. I have to, because I get so stressed that I have to run it off sometimes. But It works. It works. So, hey guys, thank y'all so very much for coming on the show. Like, we only had one opportunity to kind of connect with each other, and both you guys have some amazing stories. Kevin, I really want to start with you. If you can kind of set the scene for all of us, some of your past experience when it comes to media work. I know you started in radio and television. Can you kind of catch everybody up?
Yeah, so I like you said, I started in radio. Always grew up among the many things I thought I wanted to be was a DJ, and had a chance to work at the station eventually that I listened to growing up, and that was a blast. And then I got a chance to get into TV, and the only thing I knew about TV is I could spell it.
Gotcha.
And that I had one in our house. And for years worked in television for a long time. Most recently, I was a creative director at a Fox station, and got to work with an absolutely amazing creative team, far more creative than me. But I've worked with Fox affiliates, ABC, NBC, CBS, the CW, and it's just been a blast. And then the position got cut, like a lot of things happen in the broadcast industry. Actually got back into radio for a bit and worked with a local station here, which was a hoot, just to figure out that I could still do it. And so I started my own video marketing business and just help people get into video and figure out video. And I like to really help people that are beginners and they're trying to figure it out. So that's my background.
Man, that's really good. So, Dan, I have you here. Now, your background has been in teaching businesses and starting businesses. Am I correct in saying that?
Mm-hmm. Originally, actually, if you go back further, when I had a lot more hair, it was actually very more technical. So I started my first ever job was when I was 17 for a internet provider. And I was, ran my own ISP business for a while and my own managed service provider business for a while. Got into operations in businesses, so leading the ops side for private equity and venture capital backed large scale growth businesses. It's only actually in the past few years that I've got into the more kind of like marketing consultancy and startup scene. But most of my career has actually been in the underlying infrastructure and tech and operations and the doing of the thing,
Gotcha.
So yeah, there's a lot of stories I can tell you about high growth scale ups. It's quite an interesting world.
Well, saying that, between the three of us, and of course I've come out of the radio world here in the States, and I have actually loved building, I guess I would call my community or my fans and all of that. And people have kind of followed me over the years. And now to be in a place where I'm teaching, along with Brant, we're teaching other people how to stream. Let me ask you guys this question. When did you guys have the notion that video is now taking over? Like, video is the thing, whether it was YouTube or just online. Like, when did that happen in both of you guys' careers? I'll start with you, Kevin.
Well, I mean, my answer may be different because I worked in TV for a long time, and so video was what we did.
Gotcha.
And I remember, some people getting into YouTube and things like that. But even then, for years, we would use YouTube just to replay things we had done. We weren't really doing anything with it.
Right.
So, from that standpoint, I mean, even, radio has always been my first love. We talk about audio being the most important part of video, but I mean, for me, video's always been that important, but I think if you just look back over the last few years, even before the pandemic, you see video really starting to take over more and more when the streaming services are coming on, and now you've got so many options to even get your message out there, and it's just, you can do it so cost effectively more than anything else. It's amazing. So I don't know. My cheat answer is like I've been around it so long, I don't really know.
I get it. Dan, how about you?
It was actually, I mean, let's face it, like humans we're lazy people anyway by nature. So it was always going to be a time when the technology caught up with our laziness and just enabled us to actually kind of do more from home and to connect with people without actually having to physically go and see them, before
Right.
pandemics hit or anything. But for me, in my career, actually, I used to run ops for a global hosting business. And the products from an infrastructure point of view, the amount of bandwidth usage that business had to actually scale up with to try and keep up with the demand of streaming, and also high bandwidth gaming as well, it was insane. So when I first started in that business, most of the dedicated servers that were actually sold had a monthly limit of 10 terabytes, which was like more than enough. Like no one ever hit that.
Gotcha.
And then within the space of less than a year, everyone was hitting it, and everyone was like screaming for 100 terabytes. And then within 8 months later, everyone was screaming for a petabyte and so on. And it was like insane bandwidth usage. I mean, the bandwidth costs, to give you an idea, they'd go from 50 to 100 grand a month, all the way up to $500,000.
Wow.
Which is insane.
Wow.
So yeah, that's when you look at the numbers, as I would do on a monthly basis, that's when I saw it like taking off, and the vast majority was live streaming and gaming.
Wow. So I was watching just the other day on Netflix, they have the documentary on Blockbusters. And everybody knows the Blockbuster story. They had the business in their hands. Like literally, they were the king of the hill. And Netflix came in, and they still had an opportunity just to pivot a little bit and never did.
Yeah.
Streaming online, I never thought it. So let me say this, not just Blockbusters. Let me just say I missed it too, because I never put $1 into Netflix in the stock. I should have invested when I figured out, like when I started paying for the service, I should have just invested in the company, and I would have made some money out of this deal as well. So I can't just say Blockbusters missed it. I missed it as well. But this streaming business, whether it's really for entertainment, for education, and now even more for businesses, like how important is it, guys? How important is it for a business right now to be sure that the products, the leaders of the company can be seen and heard online some kind of way, whether it's YouTube or from their website? How important is it for them to have video online? Dan, I'll let you go first.
Go ahead, Dan. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to get into psychology here for a minute.
I love
Not
it,
too
Dan.
deep, don't worry.
No. Go for it, sir.
So let's talk about Blockbuster for a second, right? Because you used that analogy.
Right.
Blockbuster was great when everything was physical. When you had to actually go to the store and you had to kind of like get the DVD or whatever, take it home, watch it, take it back. And when streaming came out, you didn't have to do that anymore. So footfall just dropped through the floor. You didn't have to go to Blockbuster at the middle of the night and line up outside on a middle of a Friday just for your bag of popcorn to go with it or anything. Because when you don't have to go out, it's all about convenience. The same thing happened with Amazon. So when Amazon actually launched, people didn't have to go to the bookstore anymore. They would just have books delivered to their door, and they were like, happy days, convenience, and it's cheaper. When Amazon became a fulfillment business and a logistics business rather than a book selling business or an e-commerce business.
Right.
Many people think that Amazon is an e-commerce business. It's not. It's a fulfillment business. That's what they do. And every other business that you think of, even McDonald's isn't a fast food business. It's a real estate business.
Right.
Because they own the real estate. So what people tend to do is that they go for the convenience and they go for ease. And the deeper psychological level of that is when you follow the money and you follow ease, it actually becomes really simple to figure out where trends are going to go, because the water almost will always flow in that direction. And we can't go against our nature either. And every time you try, like Blockbuster, they try to think, nope, we've got a solid base, we'll be okay. It turns out they're not. Because people will always do what people do. You know?
Hey, Dan, can I interrupt you just 1 second, if you don't mind, sir? And I want to say this to everybody. I got a couple people on. Definitely shouts out to you, Bishop Oliver, for hanging out with us tonight. Dan is really about to drop something, and he's already said most of it. I want every person that is streaming, if you have a show, if you have a product, if you have a business, please take the time to lean in at this moment. All right, because he's not the only one. People are saying this in the industry, but now you're getting it from Dan Holloway. He's going to teach you something right now that's going to take your business to the next level. And I'm stopping on purpose, Dan, because you can say it with your accent and we can move past this and people would miss it. If you're not taking notes right now, you're doing yourself a disservice. So I'm going to go back just a little bit and rewind it, Dan. And you said you have to build it with ease. It's kind of like flowing with water, how water flows. And I'll let you pick up from there.
So human nature would always do what human nature does, right? And human nature is to build communities together, but we're also lazy when we're given the opportunity to be so, right? So when you couple those two things together, we will always, if we get an opportunity, we'll always do the easy thing, but we still are community-based beings at the same time. So what's the best way of building community and relationships without having to get your ass out of bed or out of your sofa and actually go out into the world? It's basically through video. You know, that is the easiest and most comfortable means by which to build a relationship with someone. And when you can do that without getting off of the sofa or leaving your front door, how else are you going to do it? You know, podcasts is audio only. You don't get visual cues. You don't get inflections of voice. You don't get like smiles or, you know, reflections off of a bald head or anything like that. You know, video is the only means by which you can actually have as near to at least a human one-to-one interaction until, and I reckon, and this is like a way off, the only instance where that's going to get surpassed is when you have augmented reality or virtual reality that actually brings kind of virtual personas into communities. But I reckon that's like a good few decades off yet.
Dan, hold that one for me, Dan, because we want to come back to that idea about what the future is. I like it, but I want to hold that conversation just a second here and get Kevin an opportunity to talk about video and businesses. How important is it? Video with the businesses. And Dan just gave us so much information there.
Well, and I'm not going to refute any of that because I didn't understand it. No, I'm just joking. No, I think it was absolutely spot on. And, you know, I just read today, and I think this will just drive home, and I don't want to get people to get caught up in the amount I'm going to mention.
Okay.
But Amazon just sealed the rights for all NFL Thursday night games. They paid $1 billion just to broadcast, just to stream. See, it's an old habit. Thursday night football. Part of the deal with the NFL now is NBC will stream on Peacock. Fox has an app called Tubi or something like that. CBS now on the new Paramount Plus. Disney will be streaming on ESPN. And if you think about where the NFL is going, you know that, and I didn't read the whole deal. I think we'll still have games over free broadcast television, which is where I watch a lot of mine. But if you think about that, that's just another example of how big video is. Video that is on demand, of you can go to it. And I think if you go back to the retail, I mean, I honestly shop on Amazon just because it's easy. I go to the store for groceries, but other than that, I shop on Amazon. So when you look at video for businesses, if your customers are already online and they would rather be online, or even to use Dan's analogy, we're lazy, which I am, then really look at how to get into that and speak to them where they are, when they want to. And in fact, I don't even think you have to worry about the quality that much, because the more you think about, I got to have this, and I got to have this, and I got to have this, your competition has already got a smartphone out and talking to his customers. And so when you look at the bigger picture of how streaming is just getting more and more just, it's just there everywhere, that's when you start thinking, hey, I need to be a piece of this pie.
I love it. So,
Can I pick up on something there?
Yeah, please
Actually,
do. Please do.
So, I mean, like I said earlier, Amazon is a fulfillment business, not an e-commerce business. So if you look, and the strategist in me is coming out here.
Come on, I need to hear it. Everybody's taking notes.
Look what Kevin was saying about Amazon's acquisition of the broadcast rights for all of the events. I was about to say football. I get so confused. Football, soccer, like basketball, basketball. It's like I'm British. But when you look at the fulfillment side of things, Amazon is filled with some very, very smart people, right?
Right.
And if you look at the CEO of Amazon, Bezos is stepping down, and the new CEO who's stepping in is the guy who actually built and pretty much did build and has been running Amazon Web Services, which shows that Amazon itself as a business is going way more towards the infrastructure and fulfillment of virtual and non-physical products like infrastructure and everything else. And if you look at the streaming side of things, a lot of the streaming runs over Amazon's network through Amazon Web Services. So what I always say to my clients is like, follow the money, right? So if they've got the rights to all those sporting events on a regular basis, then you know that they're going to be building direct network connections with all of the event kind of sources, and they're going to be bringing that in, offering preferential streaming and low latency and all the kind of the fandangled stuff that broadcasters love. And that's just going to exponentially bring all of their streaming infrastructure a massive, massive boost. And because the production teams are going to be using them directly, everyone they're going to be like spidering out to and peering with are going to be using Amazon because of latency and so on. So strategically, it is a massively intelligent play. And that's just one example of what I think you're going to see a lot more of. I mean, even Disney, they're going to be doing the same stuff. They've just got Star, and they're going to be doing so many more acquisitions because it's all becoming a fulfillment business of what is essentially digital products.
Fulfillment. Listen, again, I mean, Kevin and Dan, you guys are giving us so much content. I pray that you guys please take notes. Please take notes of this from watching what we're doing with video, what Amazon has just done with acquiring the digital properties of Thursday Night Footballs, which is big. And then Dan adding on to everybody acquiring digital properties. Like, are you acquiring digital properties, guys? Like, have you figured out something that's a digital product that you could sell and acquire that, bought the rights, or developed it? These are all questions, and I want to do this right now. Doc Rock has chimed in. Streaming is still broadcasting based on the one-to-many parts of the definition, and you are right, sir. Streaming is broadcasting, and we got to keep it going. Thanks for chiming in tonight, and of course, he got at you, Dan, with football is round, Dan. So definitely shouts out to that. So
We got to love Doc Rock.
I know it. You got to love him, right? You got to love him. So I want to ask this next question because it kind of adds to the digital product of streaming. How important is it as we're setting this platform to stream videos? You're online now for companies really that have a product, whether it's digital or physical, to build community online around those products. How important is that?
Oh, I think it's everything. I mean, who wants to really do business with a brand? I mean, really, for the last 2 days, I've been without Wi-Fi. So it felt like I was at the dawn of time again, right? I couldn't get Wi-Fi working. And so I reach out because we have a Google Mesh, and I reach out to Twitter and Facebook, the Messenger, and I send a tweet thinking, I hope somebody's going to talk to me. And for most of the day yesterday, I'm tweeting back and forth with a real person, not a bot, via Twitter. And now I already loved Google, but now I really love Google because they helped me. I mean, I was sharing screenshots, and they were like, "Well, try this and get right back with us and and they followed up today to make sure it was still working.
Wow.
So, if you want to win, then connect with people. And community is where it has been and will continue to grow even more. It's one of the reasons I love YouTube. I mean, Facebook I love too, but there's a community that you just have on YouTube. I mean, heck, I was live streaming last week, and the first comment came from a lady in Scotland.
Right.
Scotland.
Right.
I'm like, wow. And all of a sudden I'm like, okay, now she's part of this community and this conversation we're having. And a business can do the exact same thing. And in fact, I think the businesses that want to interact with their people more as people, and not just demographics and stuff like that, those will be the businesses that win.
I agree. Dan, what do you think?
So I reckon, people buy with emotion and they justify that with logic. I mean, that's something I say all the time. And I mean, if you're just running there's no such thing as just running a business because business is hard. But if you're running a commodity-based business, it's all about, price and speed to delivery. It's all about that fulfillment at the end of the day. And that's just one-off purchases. You don't have to build a relationship with someone. I want the thing, I'm going to pay no more than X, and I want it by Y. Can you do it, yes or no? Done. And that person's probably not going to come back to you again because they're just looking for a quick win.
Right.
But if you're any type of services business, any kind of business where actually repeat custom is pretty much your lifeblood of your revenue, and if you're looking for, your own customers or past customers to be referring people they know to you and so on, the best place to do that is through building a community and a relationship with them.
Right.
Because why the hell are they going to trust you, and why are they going to refer their friends to you, and why are they going to spend the social currency that they've built up within their own communities on you if you don't spend the time to get to know them?
Right.
And them you. It's, again, base psychology. We are community based beings, and if you take that away, all we are is commodity based, where I have a club, I want a mammoth, and once I've got it, I don't care about anything else.
So this,
let me add to that too. If you think about, was it last year, the 3 things Facebook focused on: groups, marketplace, and stories. Groups is all about taking us and creating community in liked groups, right? Mm-hmm. And marketplace, we're selling to each other, and even stories. There's something there about that you can share your experience because it's going to go away, and so. If it's just, you can even see what the giants, if you will, are doing, and go, okay, how can I maybe adapt to that too?
I think it's important. Like I would say this. I had it up just for a second. People buy with emotions and justify it with logic. That's Bishop Oliver puts that in there. Everybody's taking notes for us right now. Definitely, thank you for that. I would say this. And let me use Ecamm as a basis, one of the partners of this show. They have a group on Facebook that is growing leaps and bounds every day. Tons of people are going into the Ecamm Live community group on Facebook and joining. And in that group, you have other people. So it's not Ecamm, but people that are part of that group that are answering questions, that are helping people use the product. And basically, all Ecamm had to do was just start the engine. All right.
Yeah.
There are other people that have customers are being used to moderate the group. And all Ecamm has to do is just allow that engine to grow and grow and grow and grow. And next thing you turn around, you got 20,000 people that are in a group that are helping one another. Not everybody's engaged, but man, if they now know where to go to ask a question if they need to. Now, sometimes you get people asking questions that may need to go to support. But we have people saying, hey, go to support. There's sometimes there's things that could happen, but in the most part, we're actually seeing the community grow leaps and bounds with Ecamm, and I believe that helps Ecamm. So the whole word of affiliates now with companies, I don't care what you have, Dan. Tell me if I'm wrong. Like if you have a business, you should just have an affiliate program because that helps build community. Am I wrong in saying that?
Not at all. I think that's one of the untapped resources that many companies don't use nearly as much as they could. And I think one thing that, again, I talk about this a lot to my clients as well, because I don't know why people don't know this more, because it seems obvious to me. But when you talk about community, and when you talk about a business and its culture, people seem to think they're disconnected and they're separate things. So when I've been working in private equity and venture capital backed businesses, they're like, oh, we need to work on our business culture and we need to kind of like get a mission statement. And, it's like, ta-da kind of thing. And I'm like, okay. And then you have another meeting where they start talking about building relationships and building community and, kind of customer journey and all that kind of stuff. And I remember sitting in one of those meetings and saying, well, okay, so we're building a business culture, which is like the cumulative nature of everyone within our own organization, yet we're attracting customers into our world. We're attracting joint venture partnerships into our world, suppliers into our world. Surely they're part of the culture as well. In the communities that we build, we're all like-minded people, and we all are attracted to the same kind of things.
Right.
And the room, honestly, it was like half divided. Half of them were like, you have no idea what you're talking about. The other half were like, oh my God, that's like revolutionary.
Right.
And we never really got to the bottom of it, because it was such a clash of mindsets around it. You have the customer journey people who are like, no, customers are external to us. And the other people who are like, we can't survive without them.
Right.
And the community element, I personally think, a business culture is the community, and the community is the business culture, because it's the cumulative nature of everyone within your org. Everyone you bring into or touch with what you do has to resonate with you on some level. And if they don't, then they're not right, and they're not supposed to be there. Right. And that's a really hard thing for a business to balance. And that's what I think Ecamm's done really well, is that most people within their Facebook group are clients, or they resonate on a deep level with what Ecamm as a brand stands for. And people who work within Ecamm resonate with the same things. People they partner with, people like, us, because we know them, we like them. We resonate on the same level with what they resonate with. And when you get that right and that balance right, you just draw in so many more like-minded folk into your world, and it just becomes so easy to grow. It's insane.
I absolutely love that, that you're saying that, Dan. You're sharing a lot of information, and I know I only have you guys for a few minutes here tonight, but
I'm saying I talk too much.
No. It's not that at all. It's not that at all. What I'm saying is that I'm a part of your new group that you have on Facebook, and I want you to talk about how people can connect with you and how they can get into this group, because you're giving information out right now, and you're trying to help business people without all the fluffy stuff. And I want you to talk about how people can connect with you.
Sure. I mean, the group is probably the easiest place. So it's very new. Like literally, I opened the doors yesterday. So very, very new. But it's called the No Fallacy Club. And I chose to call it No Fallacy Club because one of the things I stand for, building community, like we were talking about, is there's a lot of fallacies out there in the world that you're told that you need a thing when actually you don't, or that thing doesn't even work. And I very much believe that business should be easier. And you should just cut the fluff, you should cut the BS, and you should just get down to what actually works and ignore all of the other stuff that doesn't. So I started a Facebook group to help people to cut through that stuff. So if you go to nofallacy.club or search for No Fallacy Club on Facebook, the group's in there. By all means, join. I've got a 5-day challenge, which I'm launching tomorrow, kind of like a beta launch of something I'm going to be scaling a lot more in the future. So yeah, by all means, if you're interested in jumping into that to get a bit of clarity on what you're doing and build up some momentum, and join the challenge. And it's quite deep. As you can imagine, I'm quite a deep thinker. So most challenges are quite superficial, easy kind of things, and it's a bit like, meh. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to make it really, really challenging and like make people dig into the pits of their souls and like drag out all the stuff they don't want to think about for months. And that's what the challenge is all about, starting tomorrow.
I love it. I'm a part of, I hadn't signed up for the challenge because I know you just released that, but I'm definitely in the group. And
it's going to be dropped into the group at 6 a.m. every morning, starting Monday.
Gotcha. So Dan, thank you so very much for coming on. Listen, you're part of the stream team now, so we'll probably have you back. No, we will have you back to talk more. I'm gonna have to give you like little bits and pieces. Like, Dan, just talk about this part, and we could go for a while because you have a wealth of knowledge, and not only that, you say it with an accent. So I hear everything.
I didn't even get proximity effect either. I could go way down on the microphone right here and get a bit blurry, but actually my voice sounds deep.
There you go. I love it. I love it. And
when I would this mic, I normally have this one. That's even deeper.
Wow. Wow. Kevin, how about you now? I know you have some brand new things going on. How can people connect with you, sir?
Best way is obviously my YouTube channel. If you want to check that out, it's Kevin Kolbe on YouTube. My website is kevinkolbe.com. I use my name because hopefully I can remember that. But I do one-on-one coaching, help people get started and get into video, and so those are probably the best places to connect with me and just see what we can do and make some video together.
Listen, Kevin, don't be modest, sir. You have a coaching service that people can sign up for. I don't want you to forget that. You're helping people that want to get into video to do that, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah,
hey,
you can find that on my website, yeah.
There you go. So I want people to connect with both these guys. Please, guys, be willing to come back, hang out with us. Come back when
Anytime.
I got Brant here, and we all could be smarter when Brant's around, right? Everybody could be smarter when Brant's here, all right? So
thanks for having me on.
Show.
I
You're doing
enjoyed
well.
it. Thank you. Anytime.
Thank you, guys. I'm saying